you ever had your divorce lawyer propose to you during mediation? My divorce lawyer, Garrett, was everything you'd want during a messy split. Ruthless, brilliant, and completely professional. For 8 months, he'd been dismantling my ex-husband's lies about hidden assets with surgical precision. Brett had spent our entire marriage gaslighting me about money while funding his gambling addiction with my inheritance. Now Garrett was making him pay, literally. The mediation was scheduled for a Tuesday morning in October. Brett arrived with his lawyer and his 23-year-old girlfriend, Cassidy, who he'd apparently been dating since before we separated. She wore my grandmother's bracelet, the one Brett claimed was lost in our move. I wanted to rip it off her wrist, but Garrett placed a steadying hand on my arm. Trust the process, he whispered. 4 hours into negotiations, we'd reached an impasse. Brett refused to admit to the offshore accounts Garrett had uncovered. The mediator called for a break. That's when everything went sideways. Garrett stood up, straightened his tie, and instead of addressing the mediator, turned to me. Before we continue, I need to say something. He pulled out a small velvet box from his briefcase. The room went dead silent. Eliza, I've spent 8 months watching you rebuild yourself from someone who tried to destroy you. I've seen your strength, your grace, your refusal to become bitter despite having every reason to. He got down on one knee, right there in the conference room. I know this is insane, but I can't pretend anymore. Will you marry me? Brett's face turned purple. This is illegal. Conflict of interest. I'm reporting you to the Bar Association. Garrett didn't even look at him. His eyes stayed locked on mine. I'll withdraw as your counsel immediately if you say yes. I've already arranged for my partner to take over. She's actually better than me at this. Cassidy gasped. This is so romantic. Brett glared at her. The mediator was frantically flipping through his handbook, clearly searching for protocol on proposals during divorce proceedings. Brett's lawyer had his phone out, probably Googling ethics violations. You've lost your mind, I said to Garrett. We've never even had coffee together. I know everything about you, he replied. Your favorite color is cerulean, not just blue. You tap your right foot when you're anxious. You donated half your salary to the women's shelter even when Brett was draining your accounts. You read mystery novels but always figure out the ending by chapter 3. You deserve someone who pays attention. Brett slammed his fist on the table. This is manipulation. She's vulnerable. That's what did it. Brett telling anyone else about manipulation. Yes, I said. The room erupted. Brett threatened lawsuits, criminal charges, disbarment. The mediator called for a recess. Garrett's partner, Sylvia, arrived within 15 minutes with transfer paperwork and a grin. I always suspected, she said, taking over my file. This is void, Brett kept shouting. The whole divorce is compromised. Sylvia smiled sweetly. Actually, it strengthens our position. Your ex-wife's lawyer was so confident in the case's merit that he risked his entire career. Judges find that very compelling. She was right. With Sylvia at the helm and Garrett's meticulous groundwork, Brett folded within 2 hours. I got the house, the investments, and damages for emotional distress. He got to keep Cassidy and my grandmother's bracelet, which turned out to be a fake he'd bought on eBay after pawning the real one. Later, in the parking garage, I gave Garrett the ring back. That was insane, but effective, he said, pocketing it with a smile. You don't even love me. We've never dated. No, he admitted. But I've thought about asking you out every day for 6 months. Figured I'd wait until the divorce was final. Then Brett showed up with that girl wearing your grandmother's bracelet, and I saw your face crack for just a second. I couldn't let him win. So the proposal? Pure theater. Though if you'd actually wanted to keep the ring, I wouldn't have complained. He handed me a business card. That's my personal number. Call me in a month after the dust settles. We can start with coffee. I did call, 31 days later. We had coffee, then dinner, then 6 months of actual dating. He proposed again last week, properly this time, at a restaurant instead of a mediation table. I said yes again and meant it this time. Brett sent us a wedding gift, a cease and desist letter. We framed it.